Ladies and gentlemen, your sweet Zionist Prince Tal, the traveling clad, back with another video for you from the Holy Land here in Israel. Today, we're reacting to President Donald Trump with Anderson Cooper.
There's something.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out, okay? You'll get another Pulitzer, right? But you're going to have to figure that out. But there is a tremendous hatred, and we have to be very vigilant. We have to be very careful, and we can't allow people coming into this country who have this hatred of the United States.
I guess the question is...
And of people that are not Muslim.
I guess the question is there a war between the West and radical Islam, or is there a war between the West and Islam itself?
It's radical, but it's very hard to define. It's very hard to separate because you don't know who's who.
I don't mean to be like a Trump fanboy on this show. You know, I feel like we keep talking about Trump. But here's the deal, man. He really gets it. He really understands. I've talked about this in a few videos. I just finished reading the Quran. It says immensely, immensely hateful things about Jews and Christians in that book. And it does propagate hateful rhetoric towards Jews and Christians. Does that mean that every Muslim is bad? No. Does that mean that every Muslim is hateful towards Jews and Christians? No. But like President Donald Trump said, there's an issue. There is an issue apparent with the fact that there's 2 billion Muslims. So even if 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, only 10% hate the West, that's still a couple million people who are part of that group who want the destruction of the United States of America and furthermore Israel. That causes a lot of issues for people like me who are American Israeli. The devil, shaitan in Arabi. It's a problem. It's a real issue. I want you guys to listen to this message again from Trump.
Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us.
Look how he puts it. I think Islam hates us. I'm not sure that's the most eloquent way to put it, but I would say I think that a vast majority of Muslims harbor very hateful feelings towards Western civilization, Jews, Christians, and what is deemed to be the moral West. Okay? And, you know, they do have some rightful gripes with that. Like the Arab world has some gripes that are fair to be put on the West. There's been a lot of Western intervention in the Middle East that has caused the downfall of many extremist Muslim Arabs and their proxies and their armies. But yes, this is something we need to address, and we don't talk about it quite enough. Now, we have on the other side of the spectrum, just north of the United States of America, we have the potential Canadian Prime Minister, Pierre. And he'll be going full Jew for us here with a kippah on his head.
When I backpacked through Israel in my youth, and there was a wonderful rabbi who let me stay with his family, actually, in a village called Beitar. He invited me for a Shabbat because I wanted a real Shabbat experience. So when I got there, I experienced the most beautiful Shabbat ever. Here he was with his half-dozen kids and his beautiful wife sitting around the Shabbat table. As the night went on, they sang these beautiful Hebrew songs. And what struck me is that more than 2,000 years ago, on the same land, the same people were singing the same songs. The Jewish people are the only people I know of who, in the same language, worship the same faith on the same land, in the same country, as they did 3,000 years ago. I want you to look...
Look, I do want to point something out to Pierre saying we are one of many, actually. I would say we're the most popular one. But if you look at indigenous peoples, like the First Nations peoples who live in Canada and the Native Americans who live in the United States of America, their religion their native polytheist, indigenous religion to the land, their DNA, their people, they're all still experiencing that the same way that Jewish people are. But that's the parallel that I like to draw. People try to understand what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be part of the nation of Israel. It's so much more complicated than just religion, because God knows I'm not a good Jew according to the rabbinical studies, but I'm one of the most loudest and proudest and spiritual Jews I can be, because I believe in the power of the nation of Israel. I believe in the power of Am Yisrael. I believe in the power of our collective, of our family. And that's something that Native Americans have, First Nation people have, indigenous aboriginals to Australia have this. I always try to draw that parallel because it makes it a little bit easier to understand. The land can't exist without its people. We are the people that are destined to be the caretakers, the custodians of this land. It's a symbiotic relationship. We cannot exist one without another. The people can't exist without this land, and the land can't exist without the people. It doesn't become fruitful without its rightful custodians. That's why throughout all the ages, you can see even when it was the Palestinian region of Palestine, it was a desolate wasteland. It marked in multiple documents. We just covered a video on this recently. This land has its people, and the people have their land. That's one. Okay? 2, the religious beliefs that constitute the group of people are all bound to the land. The books, the prayers, the foods, everything is bound to the land of Israel. It's mentioned multiple times. The stories, then the culture, the music, the language, it's bound to the land. If you look at a reflection of Hebrew, ancient Hebrew and modern Hebrew, if you look at the culture, the stories, all of it revolves around the land. You can't say the same thing for Palestinians. You can't say the same thing for Arab Muslims, because the concept of Islam and Arabism is to spread far and wide. So even an Arabized, Islamized Indonesian will not have a connection to Saudi Arabia. But a Jew in the far-reaching corners of Ukraine, or in the far-reaching corners of Ethiopia, or in the far-reaching corners of Mesopotamia and Iraq, is going to say, Am Yisrael Chai. Is going to say, Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim, which means next year in Jerusalem. Is going to pray towards Jerusalem. Is going to do things, is going to practice things, and speak in a language that all revolves around the land I'm currently sitting in. That I'm so blessed and grateful to have the opportunity to come to you guys live from this place. So I think that's something that's really, really important to remember in Pierre's talk here.
Look at the echo of the unmatched history of the eternal Jewish people. I was able to witness that history and that resilience when then Prime Minister Harper assigned me to represent him on the March of the Living. I remember being shaken by the images that I saw there. The prosthetic limbs that had been ripped off incoming prisoners and gathered up in a storage room, the sheared hair, the jewelry, the instruments of torture. But most of all, I saw Israeli flags flying in the wind. The Star of David, the symbol of the Jewish people and now its homeland, was like a symbol of triumph. It said, from the faces of those Jewish young people, we are still here. You did not stop us. You are gone and we are still alive. Think of the trash can of history. It is filled with those who have tried and failed to destroy the Jewish people. From the Pharaoh to the Haman, to the totalitarian socialist dictators of Hitler and Stalin, all of them have been defeated. And yet the Jewish people still go on. I don't know what the world will bring tomorrow. I don't know, much less 100 years from now. But I do know this, that 1,000 years from now, whatever is going on Fridays, as the sun goes down, there will be a Shabbat in Israel. Those songs will still be sung. The Jewish people will go on. and they will still say, Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
What a mensch. What a mensch. I love him. I'm starting to become a Pierre fan. I wish I could remember how to say his last name. Pierre Poupliponpon? Pierre Poupliponpon. Man, if I come to Canada, I got to try to meet this guy, even though I'm sure he's very busy. Wow. What a stand-up guy. Imagine a presidential period where we have Trump in the White House and him in the Maple House. Canada's on a comeback, baby. Canada's coming back. Let's make Canada great again. Maple syrup on everyone. Let's spray maple syrup on everyone. Oh, man. The world is changing, and sometimes I think it may be in a very beneficial way. Look, Pierre is a symptom of the change I think the world needs to see today. And I think after a year and a half of nothing but anti-Semitic garbage spewed, I'm so proud to be sitting on the right side of history. I'm so proud to be on the side of Donald Trump and on the side of Pierre, who get it. These are people who are not Jewish, who get it. They understand. I think that's the main message that I draw from it is, with all the shit that's going on, you know, I have a Discord with Jews from all over the world. And all of us Jews, we all have anxiety. It doesn't matter what, Mizrahi, Ashkenazi, we all have PTSD and anxiety. Every single one of us. We're all going through immense shit all the time. And the generational trauma just carries down in your brainwaves. But in this Discord, I think that a lot of us are Jews on this Discord. And you're, by the way, more than welcome to join. Link is in the description. Please do join, Jew or non-Jew. We love having people from all over the world speak to us. I think that the one thing that sews the common string between everybody is that with all the bad things that are happening to the Jews, we still know we're going to be here tomorrow. You just can't get rid of us. You can try, you might get close, but the reality is we're not going anywhere. We're right here. We're going to stay right here. And even if you try to remove us from Israel, you might get close. There's a few that'll convert to Islam or Christianity and hide, but they'll come back and they'll start breeding again. And when times are more tolerant of Jews, we'll be back and we'll grow. And that's our story. We've done it every single time. The eternal nation, I think, is the great way to put it. We're a part of a movement that's here to better the world. You can try to quell that. You can try to bring on darkness, but you won't succeed because at the end of the day, religious or not religious, someone is watching over us. Whether that's Elon Musk in simulation theory or Abba Hashem himself. So I appreciate you guys all for watching. It's a bright future. Keep your head up. We're going to be just fine. I love you guys a long time. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, Klats. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.